in medical things, you also have to keep in mind that if you're working in a hospital and you're supposed to be doing a pen test in a hospital, pacemakers are on the Wi-Fi, dude. I don't care what you say,
Really?
on the Wi-Fi. And I've had many
Okay.
calls from customers that I've seen the MAC address come back, and I'm like, this is probably a pacemaker. And they're like, hang on, we'll check. Yes, it is. Well, it's on your guest Wi-Fi,
Oh
and
my gosh.
it has an RCE, and we can stop someone's heart right now. And like, these are serious problems. If you're in that industry, like, that's an added stress. Like, so,
That's scary. That is scary. Wow.
so
Okay.
so yeah, and I don't want to scare anybody. I just want to be realist.
Yeah.
So, to answer your other question about what it takes, at least at GuidePoint, to be a senior security consultant, um, it that's a really tough question, honestly. And I'm going to do the best that I can. And I know some of my GuidePoint folks are going to probably watch this. I'm probably going to get ripped on it a little bit, and that's fine. But it really just takes the ability to recognize and put out fires, for one. Because if you're a consultant, you are going to work with clients, and you're going to be very, very client facing. And you will not always have, especially if you're a senior, you will not always have that manager that's on the call with you, because they could get pulled away for whatever administrative task that they had to do. So you have to be able to put out fires on your own sometimes.
Okay.
You have to be able to answer questions in a political way to the point where you don't cause yourself more work or accidentally go above your scope or
Mhm.
past your scope, because that can end up costing your company more money. And it really ends up turning into an administrative thing, being a senior versus not a senior. Um, I reference things that regular consultants, and I don't say regular as in like lesser, I mean regular as in the title, um, consultants do um, a lot at GuidePoint. There are plenty of security consultants and even security analysts, which is our junior role on our team, that I reference them all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you do this? Or, this is a really cool thing. I know there's one person in particular, I'm not going to name drop or anything out here, but there's one person in particular, and they know who they are. We were on an engagement and we called them in, and they're a junior, and we called them into a senior engagement because they're the only person that we knew that could handle C# code and injecting shellcode into an application in the middle of the night.
Okay.
So yeah, like, that was something we needed, and we knew that they could handle it. They're a junior, so being a senior means nothing when it comes to technical capability. Sometimes it just means how to handle certain tasks, and that's my opinion on it. And I definitely would defer anything further than that to some of the other seniors, and even the principals who are even more senior than I am, on what it takes to do those tasks.
Okay. Well, I did also want to talk a little bit about tools. So it looks like we're about, man, it's crazy. 30 minutes just flew by. It's
It's about
crazy.
fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. So let's talk a little bit about tools. So, I mean, I've started my journey. I'm hoping that this encourages people who I used to be a gaming YouTube channel now that I've transitioned into cybersecurity on this YouTube channel that this video will be uploaded to. But what for people who are watching this, maybe they didn't go to trade school, maybe they're not in high school, but maybe they're in high school and maybe they are not going to go to college, but they're interested in getting into IT and security. And just want to put this out here. There are a lot of jobs, but there's also a catch to that too. So they'll talk about the statistics about the number of jobs out there in cybersecurity, but the reality is they're not just hiring anybody. People are still very picky about the skill sets that they want for cybersecurity. So what do they need to do to become cybersecurity professionals first?
Yeah. So I'm gonna lead with something that that it's probably a little bit controversial, but it's my opinion. So, and that's what we're all about here. So,
It does not reflect any like
it
what opinion
definitely
of
doesn't.
guy point security and all that stuff.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Yeah, that's just a disclaimer. Anything I say here on this podcast does not reflect the Guide Point
Views
Security.
or opinion.
But the if I had to go back and do what I did, well, over again, and to an extent I did do exactly what I recommend. If you're going to go to college, go to college. I'm not gonna knock you for going to college, for cybersecurity or information security in that realm. Go for it, man. Like that's perfectly fine. But if you choose not to, and that's totally an option. I didn't go to college. If you choose not to go to college, um, some people feel stuck where they're like, well, I don't have any education. I'm only working this grocery store. I'm only working this, stepping stone job, maybe McDonald's or something like that, which is intended to be a stepping stone career or a stepping stone job. Um, if you planned to go to college, then there's a great chance that you planned to take out student loans. And
Agreed.
those student loans can go upwards of $100,000 for a 4-year college education if you don't have any assistance. Well, if you take that into consideration and you work with a loan company and you choose not to go to college, you can still use a loan to help you progress in cybersecurity by pursuing certifications. And I'm not saying go to SANS because SANS is like $7,000 per
7 grand per
certification.
class,
And
yes.
that's just ridiculous. And
$700 for cert, yes.
that's ridiculous. And to some extent, even offensive security stuff is getting kind of expensive. And whatever. But it is what it is right now. These certs are the ones that we need. This is what you need to do. You got to suck it up and just do it, right? So if you take out a $10,000 loan and you're looking at a 5-year payment plan and you're probably looking at $150 a month to pay for it. Okay, that's a car payment, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
A really
Okay.
cheap car payment.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like it's a car payment, it's an add-on, maybe you're not going out to eat as much, something like that, right?
Yeah.
You're definitely not going to college and like paying back, $1,000 a month in student loans. So it's $150, $10,000. Now you can go do like the CRPT or the OSCP or the OSWP.
Now, what is the CRPT? Never heard of that one myself.
If I said that correctly, the CRPT is the one from Pentester Academy, if I recall correctly. It's the Certified Red Team Penetration Tester, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
I'm probably butchering that, but you can find it on, actually, I might be referencing the CREST certification. So there's also CREST as well, which is more worldwide accreditation, and it's mostly used in the United Kingdom. But there is Pentester Academy has a bunch of certifications that are widely Active Directory focused, which is really big right now.
Yeah, if they're hungry for it, they'll leave a comment or find it themselves. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, so Pentester Academy is great for certs, and they're not crazy expensive. Offensive security is still reasonable. They're expensive, but they're still reasonable. You take that 10 grand loan out, and I'm not telling anybody what to do, but if you do that, you can invest that money into your certification, have 2 or 3 certifications now. And if you wanted to be and I'm talking offensive security, obviously, if you want to be that offensive security person, you have 2 to 3 certifications easy that you can do with less than $10,000, even with all the training material and all the labs. You could spend some of that money on building an internal lab at your house and having that set up. And you'll have a job before that 5 years is over if you put that investment time into it. I would say 2 to 3 years, you have your certs. 3 to 4 years, you've paid off everything. 5th year, you're looking to the future and you've got a company that'll pay for your certifications. And they'll show that drive and you add that to your resume. It's what most people don't realize. And I'm sorry if I'm going off topic here, but
No, I'm just checking, make sure we're good.
Yeah. So you add to your resume, add what you're doing to learn to your resume. I don't care if you're studying for your OSCP. I want to know how you're studying for your OSCP. That's what I look for as a hiring manager. Like, are you going to, these labs that are publicly available? I don't want to name drop everything, but are you going to?
I mean, you can talk about, don't forget to talk about your lab and what your company does.
Yeah, so like, if you want to do, like, everybody knows about like Hack the Box, or Pentester Academy's labs, or Offensive Security does their on-demand labs and things like that. But GuidePoint also does a Capture the Flag service, and for the rest of this year, we're doing 2 more Capture the Flags that are going to be hosted in the third quarter and the the fourth quarter. And that is also the launch of our Capture the Flag services, which companies can purchase in-house Capture the Flag tournaments built by GuidePoint Security, by our threat attack simulation team.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. It'll be. I mean, we may have to re up. So we've already got range services now, but when it's time to re up, we're definitely going to talk about GuidePoint at this point. Y'all are proving it to me. So I'm telling you, like, from my perspective, giving you a purely unbiased testimonial here. I love the GuidePoint CTF. It was real. It kicked my butt. And we're gonna talk a little bit about this before the end of the video, because I got some questions and I need some direction here. But it's good stuff, right? I mean, so if you don't mind telling, you're mentioning, and I don't want to interrupt your train of thought, which I've already done, but I do want you to talk about how you were challenged to make it harder. And this competition that I happened to look up and sign up for was the hard mode, and it changed my life.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Never know self-esteem.
We did our first. It was actually our second Capture the Flag, I believe, for just kind of putting it out there, publicly available, which is what we did for last week's and what we'll do for the next 2 that we got scheduled, at least for now. And we did this when it was 45 challenges. I'm not talking about last week's, I'm talking about the previous one. It was 45 challenges. And basically what I did was I put together a bunch of challenges that we had already built before. They'd already seen competition before. Someone had maybe solved them before. There might have been write-ups for them. I know some of them I had even written write-ups for. So we knew that there was a possibility that was the case. But our goal was to show you, the end user, and your company what can happen, like what kind of challenges exist. I didn't really care who solved the challenges, even though I'm happy to see that a lot of people did. Especially
scary guys out there. There's some scary people out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. But I was more concerned with showing what we were capable of, and I think that we accomplished that with the 45 challenge CTF that we did. However, we did get some feedback, although we got very, very positive feedback overall, stating, this was great. We learned a lot. This was good. We can't wait for the next one. We did get some trolls, or, just otherwise people who just weren't challenged, who just said this was too easy. And for what it's worth, no one solved every challenge. So, but we took that as a direct challenge. And so last week, we hosted a 15 challenge CTF that included some of the hardest challenges that we've ever built, and one challenge that we have been gifted to use here and there. And it was brutal. I watched the network traffic. I watched the logs. It was a lot different. I'm waiting for the feedback for that from our marketing team to see how that landed. But the long story short for that is that there were 2 challenges that I was sure that would stump the majority of everyone, and I was correct for the most part.
I didn't get to that one.
One of them got solved, and I was completely surprised by one person, and another one got solved, or it was a network device, so it was 4 flags, but they got all 4 of those flags, which was surprising to me as well. I think 2 or 3 users were able to do that as well. So those kudos to those users, and that's awesome. So,
and I'll tell them quickly how I met Alex. So I was doing the competition, and I was literally getting destroyed. So it was simple. So the first one I got the flag because it was just basically embedded in the web page HTML, right? So you had a couple options like there, two super easy flags. The first flag they give you, I think, just kind of for reading information. And so past that point, I'm scanning the computer, I'm identifying open ports and stuff like that. And oh my God, I tried RDP exploits. I tried, port 80, like WebDAV exploits. I was on exploit DB downloading all kind of Python scripts. Like I'm literally like throwing everything and I'm a rookie level hacker here. Okay. So I'm throwing everything I have at this. And this is like question number 2, right? It's like 5. I'm not even getting to the point where all these scary people have solved and stuff. And so I never could figure out for question number 2, I never got the second flag. And question number 3, I never got the second flag or third flag for it. So I wanted to ask you, in that competition for number 2, I went on the website and the first one just had, do not delete this text on it. It's just a basic HTML web page. Don't delete this. The first flag was embedded. Where should I have gone next? Like what were you expecting us to do to solve that question and find those other flags? And you don't have to give away in case you're going to reuse it, but just some direction so I know how bad I messed up on this one.
So this one's actually kind of unique because I believe, and I think this one actually has a write-up. So I can just make that public and it's perfectly fine with me. This challenge, you're talking about Jericho.
Yes, Jericho.
And that CTF challenge I actually built in 2017. So it was actually really tough to keep alive because everyone kept destroying it. And I mean, absolutely destroying it. Like once every 5 or 10 minutes, it was just broken.
You mean destroying the box itself, or?
Yeah, like they weren't allowing, like they were deleting files and preventing people from. I don't know if it was intentional or not. In some cases, it probably was intentional. Yeah. Other cases, it probably was not.
And I mean, that's the one I forgot to. That's how I met Alice because I tweeted out, "You're not supposed to like." I thought I had bricked the host because I was running so many wild, like just out of the blue exploits. So I thought I had bricked the host, which means I crashed the server. But I did notice that at certain times I wasn't getting a response. So other people were definitely crashing the server. Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100% people were crashing the devices, and that happens, and we have fail safes in place to fix that. The problem is that it just from time to time it's hard to. So for a device that's been created in 2017, it can be quite troublesome to actually. I'm trying to pull up the link to it real quick.
Okay.
There we go. Jericho. So I will post that to you directly so you can share it if you want.
Cool. All right.
But this is that's the old walkthrough for Jericho. And so the number one thing that you could have done for this is to everybody did this as well. So you're not the only one. Everyone looked at its version and was like, oh my God, it's probably vulnerable to some type of CVE, but it wasn't.
Like it turned over. No, it wasn't. You screwed us so bad on that because
it was vulnerable. It wasn't vulnerable at all.
No.
Like that was the thing. The secret to this, and I can I share my screen? Is that cool?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Absolutely.
So the secret to Jericho, is this it? Yeah, this is it. Is that, can you see that okay?
Yep, there it is.
Okay. The secret to Jericho was just looking at things. So people saw that WebDAV was available,
that's what I attacked. Go ahead.
And everybody saw that. And I saw the WebDAV uploads. I saw these things getting uploaded. The thing that a lot of people didn't check for was just like a robots.txt file.
Oh my God, no way.
So if, like, for example, if you ran a Nikto scan, I'm pretty sure it's in here somewhere. It would tell you, yeah, there it is. Robots.txt contains 2 entries which should be manually viewed. So Nikto tells you that. And
Now
so,
for everybody watching the video, what does Nikto do?
so Nikto is this old Perl script that that is used to enumerate the basic, um, I wouldn't say vulnerabilities, but just basic information about a web server, or web server directory.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, what you can see is that things like specific headers were not present. It's looking for CGI directories to see if Perl scripts are existing in CGI bin. It's seeing that there are headers that are not normal. It's checking the methods that are allowed. It's seeing that DAV, like WebDAV, is enabled. So it's telling you that as well. It's checking the robots.txt. It's telling you the different types of cookies and if they're using HTTP only or secure and things like that. So it's trying to just do some of the mundane tasks for you.
Yeah. I see you ran a curl command, pulled down the robot.txt file.
Right. So robots.txt showed that there was a hidden directory with just like ASDF, whatever, and then an uploads directory.
I see it. Gotcha. Okay.
So if you went to this page, you would be presented with an upload testing application, which is made for some type of development or whatever. It was basically, when I created this challenge, it was basically just an ASP uploader that I didn't want to spend time creating a lot of upload vulnerabilities if I knew that this was just going to upload an ASP file.
Uh-huh.
And it uploads everything to the uploads folder. So I created a payload with an ASP file,
Mm-hmm.
and created a handler that listened and caught that handler, uploaded that ASP file, and then executed it in the uploads folder like this.
And by the way, this may sound, if you're watching this may sound like complicated, but this is literally like script kiddie, like bottom level hacking. Like this is the main thing they teach you, like using Metasploit. It's just a few simple commands to do all of this. So go ahead, sir. Uh-huh.
Right. And there's a reason why this is a walkthrough, because I want you to be able to read through and understand it. And if you actually take a look, there's actually a lot of text here explaining what exactly we're doing here. So, definitely listen to that link and use that to help you.
Now, when you say there's a walkthrough, was that available in the challenge?
No. So I
Okay.
disabled these during the CTF so that no one could see them.
Gotcha. Okay.
You could probably like Wayback Machine them or something, but I didn't think anybody even knew these existed, so it was perfectly fine with me.
No, I didn't. I never thought to even look here.
So the next thing that we saw here to get privilege escalation. So actually, you would find the second flag in the Jericho folder. It doesn't show here. Here it does. So you would find it in Jericho's user folder. That's exactly where the flag was. So there's your answer to your second flag.
Dang. Well, I mean, I feel better because at least I felt like I was overthinking. And I think one of the things I've learned in CTFs a lot of time is that when you're in the lower levels and you're like going like off the rail and crazy stuff, and you're downloading like all kind of exploits and just like that are uncommon, and these exploits are not work, then you're most likely missing something, because the goal of a CTF typically is just to teach you as you do the work. So not necessarily just to destroy you. Although I'm gonna be honest with you, for a beginning question, this is probably what I would consider mid to top level for a lot of the CTFs that I've done. They give you a lot more of the simple things, but this is a full on hack right here. To do that, especially get out of robot.txt and to be able to use that to find these hidden directories. That's pretty. I mean, it's not super complex, but at the same time, it's not easy either for somebody who's trying to start hacking.
Right. And that's exactly the point. So that's why the walkthrough exists. I disabled the walkthroughs for this challenge because we got challenged.
Gotcha.
But in some of the CTFs that GuidePoint provides, we will write walkthroughs for them and make them accessible to the competitors. And we call that a learner section. And one of the things that we started doing when we were building at InfoSecCon, which is ISSA's conference, was we had two different brackets. We would have a learner section and a competitor section.
Yeah.
And the competitor section didn't have any walkthroughs. It was all new challenges. You shouldn't see them before, and go get them. the learner section was generally challenges that were either in the previous year or just something new that we created that we knew wasn't going to be challenging enough to competitors. And we would create walkthroughs for them so people could follow along. Okay. And just recently we've started adding point deductions for adding the walkthroughs. So you would get a hint and you would have to click the hint and it would cost you like 100 points or something like that. Yep. And then you would get the walkthrough for the challenge to solve it.
Again, that's what I'm used to seeing, those hints, man. I lost one. Actually, I tied, but I still lost because I was the first to finish.
Right.
Because I got to the end and took a stupid hint and it didn't even help me. Like, yo, it was like, it put me, instead of me winning flat out. But I will say that these things are awesome because I got a 3D printer in there that I won because like I signed up for a lot of them. Some of them, they're going to be super high level people in there. Sometimes they're not people that are better than me and I can actually place. So I play the odds here. I'm going into all of them. But a couple of things I do want to make sure I get out here before we get off. We're got 6 more minutes. Tools and where to begin, and then also just quickly the second challenge of number 3, and you don't have to give away the server name, but it had the picture of the guy, and I looked up the picture. I think it was from Monty Python or something. I forgot something. It was a picture. It has some text on it, and
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So, and I'm going to tell you, like, I took that stupid picture. I ran it through strings. I ran stego tests, all kind of crazy stuff looking for the flag in that picture, and that one totally stumped me also. So just quick.
You talking about the second flag for that one?
I think that was the second flag. Yeah, the first flag was in the HTML. The second flag was not.
Was it the guy with the glasses?
I cannot remember. I got all this stuff on my Kali VM. So let's see.
There's 2 of them. So there was either one with the guy who was laying back and he had a hat on, or there was another one with he had big, dark glasses on, or not dark glasses, but he had big glasses on. So it was one of 2.
I think it was the one laid back because there was a lady. You could see the foot of the lady who was standing behind.
Oh yeah. So that one actually, if you just Nikto it again, you would have found the problem.
Nikto. So Nikto's gonna be my new friend because wow. Okay.
Yeah, so Nikto is pretty good about finding the very default things. I actually usually run that as part of just a default thing. No matter what, it only takes a megabyte of like sending a request. Okay. It's nothing huge, and it's non-invasive, so it only analyzes what it gets.
Okay. All right. And then as far as like where to get started, so like I know a lot of people may not have the access to Storm CTF or the Gapform service, but if you want to get started hacking, I mean, I'm signed up for Hack the Box. It's kind of one of the ones I'm using, kind of in between competitions and stuff like that. What tools? Where do they begin? The basics.
So, like, nothing's stopping you from building a Metasploitable device. Nothing's stopping you from using things like Juice Shop, which just came out with their 20th anniversary. It's an OWASP tool.
No, what do you say, Juice Shop?
Yeah, as in like orange juice, Juice Shop. It's written, it's a JavaScript. I think it's a Node JavaScript based vulnerable. It's like a damn vulnerable web app, DVMA or DVWA. Okay. But it's in Java. It's written in JavaScript, so it's got a lot of NoSQL vulnerabilities and things like that.
Okay.
And then DVWA, Damn Vulnerable Web App, is a very good one as well.
Everybody just Google those. Okay. All right.
So those tools you can actually install on your system at home. Make sure you don't have internet exposure to those devices because they are exactly what they are and they're vulnerable. Okay. Put them into a NAT behind your VMs and stuff. And then just attack them until they break. You can also build challenges. So like if you see something, like one of the things that I was discussing with one of my coworkers today was ASP view state deserialization, and that's kind of an advanced topic for beginners.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about something and you don't quite understand it, build it. Go build that thing and see what it is. And then as you're building it, see how you could exploit it. So like maybe take away this security configuration, maybe take away this thing, maybe gain this piece of knowledge behind the scenes. And then you'll eventually figure out, oh, if I have just this thing, I can exploit this, thing or whatever. And or if I can gain this knowledge, for example, if you have for deserialization with ASP, I know you got to go, but with ASP deserialization, if if they're behind a load balancer and you're able to do an LFI and get the web.config file, chances are you're going to get the encryption keys to the view state, and you can actually just craft your own payload and have remote code execution. But you just need an LFI. So all you need to do is know what to look for. But you wouldn't have known that if you hadn't built the app yourself.
Gotcha. Okay. So build it and exploit it. So,
Yep.
and we're down to 1 minute. So first of all, Alex, thank you. Once again, I hope this video does get some traction. It's hard. It's not one of the most popular topics on YouTube. So it's been an interesting transition away from gaming, but hey, I'm enjoying it because I feel like it's providing some value to the community. For those of you that are watching the video, if you're still here, I hope you've clicked the subscribe button. Okay. I'm almost at 13,000. So go ahead and push me over the top. I need about 200 more subs, so go ahead and make that happen. And then also, if there are topics or questions, anything you have, I do read comments. I've got this channel. Also, I have my second YouTube channel where I do tech reviews. Some cool stuff over there. Links are in the description, so please go ahead and check those out. But Alex, once again, man, I would love to anything that you're going up, I'm definitely going to be trying to retweet and post on social media. And so remember, GuidePoint Security, they have a lot of free events. So make sure you go follow GuidePoint Security on Twitter and all their social media. On LinkedIn, be mindful there's a GuidePoint. That is not them. It is GuidePoint Security on LinkedIn also. So if you're professional, make sure you have a LinkedIn profile and follow in there. And then also Storm CTF. I know there's a link there, but it's at Storm CTF on Twitter, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so make sure, and I'll try to have a lot of stuff. I'll have this in post-production. I'm going to have all the stuff up under a name, so you have Alex's Twitter account, so you can at least connect with him there. Don't spam him. But anyway, man, I appreciate you taking the time. I wish we could talk more. Maybe we'll have you back after I get this edited and up, and we can talk about some things that are coming in the future. And everybody, thanks for watching.